Gatekeeping is working, to the point now that even the more normie mainstream publications are beginning to pick up on it, like here with Ford. An article titled, "Fans aren't gatekeeping anything, they're just wary of would-be dictators trying to take over their hobbies." Here oversimplified, sure, but that is, by and large, absolutely correct. And the author does bring up some of the more obvious point, for example, that we, as fans, do not have the power to gatekeep anything. Not in the strictest definition of the word. We cannot prevent Games Workshop from selling their models to someone. We cannot prevent somebody from going to the cinema to watch a movie, nor have we ever tried to do so. That is not the point of gatekeeping, never has been, never will be. In fact, our hobbies have not only always been open, we have been desperately and actively searching for new people to take part and enjoy our hobbies together. That has always been the case up until the wokeist takeover. Warhammer 40k was always for everyone. No limitations, no boundaries until the activists got into their Twitter account. And suddenly, Warhammer was for everyone, but... And that's the point. This is why we have started gatekeeping. And even then, we are not gatekeeping an entry into the hobby, we are gatekeeping the larger universe, the setting, the story, the hobby's more ephemeral elements. Our job is to look at somebody on a forum going, I really like this, but what if we just change everything about it and go, no, we're not even going to entertain the possibility. We're not going to discuss it, we're not going to talk about it, we are simply going to shut you out and say no. Simple as. Business done with. Simultaneously, we are also going to yell at the companies whenever they are engaging in anti-hobby practices. Trying to drag politics into the hobby is a massive no-no and should be shut down at every single solitary opportunity. Now, the article in and of itself doesn't really go over a whole lot of the extent of gatekeeping, what can be done, what should be done, what is being done, etc. But it is really interesting to see an article that actually takes our side for once. That's a goddamn rarity. And recognizes that gatekeeping is not about keeping anyone out, it is about maintaining the hobby. It is keeping it in its current form. It is maintaining what made it popular in the first place. As I have kept saying, Star Wars is Star Wars because it is Star Wars, not despite of it being Star Wars. These settings have reached a degree of popularity because of what they are, not in despite of it. It should be self-evident, and yet it very much so isn't in our modern day world. And just to see this narrative finally begun to get out there and begin seeping in and become popular, and people taking actual genuine pride in it. This is something as well that I have loved to see recently on many of the other forums and Reddits that I occasionally peruse. People will say, no, I am going to gatekeep, and you know what? I am proud to do it because F you. That's why. And that is the perfect way to go about it. Bearing in mind too, gatekeeping and elitism either are not the same thing. Up until a certain point, a base level of elitism is not only appropriate, it is deeply desirable. Because if you are going to have a discussion about the hobby, you are going to be expected to have a basic level of understanding about the hobby. That doesn't mean you should rag on newbies, it is the difference between a noob and a newbie. A noob is some kind of asshole who comes into the hobby, doesn't give a shit about anything, tries to ruin it, and then walks out in a huss afterwards after having told off. The newbie is the person who comes in and goes, oh hey, what's this? And you can tell him, you can explain to him. And he goes, oh maybe what if this? No, that's not how that works. It works like this. Oh, you see? There's a very, very large difference, and immediately recognizable as well. And Just to be a slight bit pedantic here, okay? The term hobby dictators, as he coins in this article here, is an interesting one, but I kind of disagree, because I don't believe that the anti-fan are coming into the hobby with the intent of controlling it in and of itself. That's not their goal. People aren't invading Games Workshop because they want to control the Warhammer 40k hobby. They want to control the cultural importance of it, the popularity of it. They want to use it as a tool. The hobby itself is entirely irrelevant to them. They could not care less. It is far, 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 far down on the totem pole of their objectives and priorities. They have the greater good, as we see again and again. There is always a political element being pushed universally when one of these hobbies are infiltrated. So again, they are anti-fans. They want to destroy the fandom and turn it into a tool to push their own political opinions. If they simply just wanted to control it, you know what? I don't care if the owner of Games Workshop is a rabid left-winger or a rabid right-winger, so long as he doesn't insert it into the hobby. That's the key issue that we keep needing to deal with so desperately. And God, I cannot get over how much I love actually seeing this brought up, though, because it means we are finally seeing real people, normies, even in publications like Forbes, going, hey, this is actually a good point. Not only can't they gatekeep because they're not in control of the product, they don't want to be in control of the product, and they do not want to keep you out. They simply want to maintain what is already cool and beautiful so that it can be shared with more people. Gatekeeping, the way we are doing it, is not destructive, it is not exclusionary, it is simply maintaining a standard so that more people can enjoy a better goddamn universe. And I will not compromise on that interpretation, because it is the literal, factual truth, and why gatekeeping should be viewed as a universal good. It is something to take genuine pride in. Now, here's another little thing as well, right? We are now actually finally getting to the point where it's getting a little bit of traction. This is the point where everyone needs to keep pushing it even more so than usual. If you're being, if somebody yells at you, oh, you can't gatekeep, okay, show them this article here, for example, on Forbes. Instead of even just a YouTube video, because if you bring up my name or Racifist's name or everybody like that, they're gonna go, those fiascists, etc. But if you show them Forbes, well, that's one of the publications that is the trusted mainstream. Now, to be fair, Forbes has always been more balanced than most of these mainstream publications. They're more of an actual publications. On their site, you can find some pretty raving lunatic lefty shit as well, but you can also find stuff like this. Yes, they'll still call the whole thing over in America an insurrection, unironically, but they'll also cover this. That's the thing. And at the end of the day, that's the ideal world, isn't it? If both parties can speak, fantastic. Then we won't have to gatekeep, we won't have to shut shit down, and we can rely on the companies simply producing their goddamn products instead of getting involved in this shit. We're still a distance away from that, mind you, but again, this is an opportunity to keep pushing, to be a bit more aggressive about it, to be a bit more vocal about it, and actually stand up and say proudly again, no, I will gatekeep, because I love this universe, and I want to keep it good. Again, if somebody can present an actual, genuine, in-universe example or argument for a thing, sure, that should be entertained. It should be taken into consideration, absolutely. But if the argument is simply, hey, you know what, we need diversity because blah blah, no. And it ruins everything else with it as well. It is not an isolated thing. The moment Games Workshop started talking about this nonsense, everyone started looking at their stuff and going, hold on, but what did you mean with all of this now then? Like, what do you mean when you suddenly there's black ultramarines everywhere? That's weird. Is this simply a genuine, actual, organic growth of the story? Or are you trying to push something? Oh, there's black space wolves now. Aha. Right, very well then. I guess we got the answer to that one, didn't we? Because remember, Warhammer is for everyone, except if you disagree with us. Gatekeep, always. It is the only way to avoid getting gate kept. Until next time, I've been Arch. Thank you all very much for watching, and I hope to see you all again soon. Have a good day.